Hi. Hi, Barney. You're wrong. It's not us guys, it's just me. Kyle is still sick. Yeah, I'm lonely too, so this is gonna be a very different kind of show. I have no one to work off of, so Barney, yes, it's the lonely show. I'm just as alone as you. So, but we're here. Great way to kick off the new year. Kyle's sick. He has not been out to the races all weekend. He's still feeling ill. I don't know if he'll be able to make it to the show tomorrow night. So, we're going to soldier on and maybe Kyle will call in later. I have not heard from him in a couple days. He's been pretty quiet lately. Yep, it's Monday again, Mike Woods. I hope you guys got something that you want to talk about, because I have nothing. Yes, all of his friends. Hey, Rick. See, I have no friends in here. None. They all abandoned me. The show ratings just went up. We'll see about that. We'll see. I don't know if that's going to happen. So, we will all let Kyle know that we miss him after this show. We missed him yesterday. We don't appreciate our announcers as much as we should. I will tell you that. His job is not easy up there. There's a lot of little things that just drive me crazy. Plus, you know, you're trying to keep up. I was doing announcing duties for him on Friday night and Sunday at Pheasantland. And it's a hard job. It's not fun. You get blamed for a lot of things. But, you know, show got done well. We're just not as exciting as Kyle is up there on the stand. Neither is Preston. So, if you got in a wreck because I did not call it out soon enough, I'm sorry. We'll try better. So let's see. Call Mark. Photo Fred. Hey Dale, how you doing? How's Oklahoma? I bet it's colder there than here. Hey Jerry. So Dale Hartzell is going to, I think you're going to visit your daughter, and then you're heading out to Chili Bowl. Hey Monster, Happy New Year to you. Get Skunk Boss. I don't know. Can someone call? If someone wants to call in, I will be happy to take that call. So message me on Facebook Messenger and we'll get you patched in. So we'll just let things get rolling here for a little bit. Anybody is better than no. We tried to get Preston, but Preston's still off doing his bowling thing. It snowed here today. I was kind of hoping Preston would have that canceled, but no. Where is Kyle? Kyle is sick. Kyle's been sick all ever since the last show last week. He has not felt well. Aren't those 976 numbers? We got one of those. They're $3.95 a minute. Frantic ROMs today. What is that? I'm taking you're talking about an Arma Granite. How did you destroy that? Those things, you know, they should be pretty tough. Chassis, that's not a big deal. You can replace that. Barney, how many times have you broken a chassis? All right, so let's see here. What do we got to do? We got 15 people on here. So I guess we're going to get right into results. And we're going to start off. Let's see. First race of the year, at least in this area, New Year's Day race at Pheasantland. We had 103 entries, 50 drivers. So it was a pretty good show for a Wednesday night. And pretty good for a pop-up show. It was just nothing planned, so just we all got together, decided we wanted to go race. Let's see what we got here. 12T Sportsman. Chelsea Oliver, Jim Freeze, Jason Durr, 13.5 sprint, Jack Sean, myself, and Mike Culp. Big block, Travis Unglert, Kurt Nicholas, Chuck Eccles, Chuckles, BL2, Travis Unglert, Chad Kohler, myself, EDM, Brett Hollinger, John Willman, and Justin Reitenauer. And intermediate, Barry Minota. Midget, intermediate, I believe they ran, yes, we ran them with 12 turn. Midget, Lance Batdorf, Brett Hollinger, James Henry. Lance has been on a roll with the midget. Mini Mud Boss, somehow a Mini Mud Boss ran. I don't know where that happened. Was Brian Beaver? I don't know what that ran with, so I'm assuming with the Sportsman's. Mod Late Model, James Henry, Scott Davies, Kurt Nicholas. Mod Sprint, Phil Cooper, Travis Unglert, Lance Batdorf. Trax is Modified, Chuck Eccles, Chelsea Oliver, and Barney Tan. Is that really how it went? Barney, you finished third in that field? Let me see that. Not that I don't doubt your capabilities, Barney. But that was a pretty, yeah, you did pretty good. That was a stacked field too. So that's Wednesday night at Pheasantland. That's going to bring us to next race, Friday night, snow day race at Pheasantland. Yeah, we've had a lot of snow here. It snowed here today. It was snowing Friday. Friday night was a mess. It was all frozen up. And people were wrecking all over the place around here trying to get home. There are a lot of roads closed. 422, 12, 222. My car owner, Todd Epstein, he got his cart totaled. Plus, he got hit by a car and broke a hip. So, wish him well. Final results for Friday night Pheasantland Snow Day non-points race. 13.5 sprint. Chris Andretta, Jay Rogers, Dennis McKeon. Big block, Kurt Nicholas, Matt Kirkpatrick, Wyatt Yan. BL2, Kurt Nicholas, Jason Durg, Gary Lave. EDM, John Willman, Preston Selfinger, Chris Intellisano. Intermediate, Shane Frank, Lucas Salt, Chris Salt. Midget, Casey Hess, Jim Fries, Dennis Ruth. Mod Late Model, Todd Ravel, Kurt Nicholas, Brian Stout. Mod Sprint, Phil Cooper, Russ Lebo, and John Willman. Rookie Mud Boss, Piper Freeze. Trax is Modified, Mac Groover, Gary Lave, and Sean Horning. That's going to take us to Saturday. Let's see what happens Saturday. Let me go over to your comments first and see if there's anything going on there that I missed. I can only do one thing at a time right now. Well, thank you, Monster. Yes, smash the like button. Yes, I made the podium. Thank you, Mike Woods. It didn't run? Okay, it didn't run, Brian? Okay, so you got the win by default. I know, there's no snacks. I'm really disappointed with myself in that I did not get any snacks. So I do have some icy tea. You keep getting crashed. Yeah. Get cider. Yeah, well, I'm still more of a bourbon person. But we're not going to drink tonight. I think us drinking last week, that got us on the YouTube watch list. So, yes, I don't think they like seeing you have alcohol. I don't know. I don't understand. What's the problem? We're all adults here. RJ Speedrome, Saturday Dirt Oval cash race. We actually raced for cash. I had no idea until got there and found out, oh, we're doing a money race. 13.5 Milk Boss, Vincenzo Rossino, Chad Lutzko, Kurt Nicholas. 360 Sprint, Matt Adams, Kevin Kuzer, Kurt Nicholas. 410 Sprint, Kyle Canals, Travis Unglert, Doug Canals. BL2 Mud Boss, Kurt Nicholas, Cody Roth, and myself. Intermediate 12T, Chubb Wenzel, Jason Wenzel, Dwayne Lindenmuth. Midget, Brett Hollinger, Matt Adams, Jr., and Matt Adams. Novice, Parker Kistler, and Colt Mann. I don't remember they're running a novice. I might have missed it. Texas Midwest Modified. This guy, Dylan Moyer, Daniel Schaefer. And that's going to take us. We'll go to RJ's for the next day. Because not only did RJ's run the dirt oval, I'm gassy tonight. Out the top end, not the bottom. So, it's all right. RJ Speed Room, carpet oval. This was Sunday's race, 17.5 stock. Chuck, nope, they didn't run that. 21.5 Sportsman, Dave Wenzel, Bernie Behringer, Colin Belts. 21.5 Truck, Chuck Winters, Kurt Sieber, Scott Schaff. 5.0 Breakout, Sean Black, Danny Stout, Dwayne Lindenmuth. BL2 Mud Boss, Jody Fenstermacher, Dwayne Lindenmuth, Robert Hoffman. Low C NASCAR, Jody Finstenmacher, Doug Canals, Robert Hoffman. And that's going to take us back to Pheasantland for Sunday's big race. Kyle didn't make it to RJ's on Saturday, so Bill had to run the show on his own. So Sunday, points race number 3 at Pheasantland. 12T Sportsman, John Wagner Jr., better known as Wreck-It Ralph, Greg Stepsis, and Chris Yob. 13.5 Sprint, Jack Jan, Jay Rogers, Corey Milligan. And Jack Jans has been doing a hell of a job in his Brett Hollinger prepared sprint car and midget. He's blowing everybody away. Big block, Chris Bertotti, Les Hartzell, Tom Pirasani. And I did talk to Chris Bertotti of Alpha Pace. So if anybody wants 13.5 just stock motors tuned for your 13.5 sprint car, he's the man to see. So I do believe he said it's $30 or $45 for a used motor to get that done, and $110 for a new one, I believe. So just double check with him. I think I'm going to get one done. You know, especially before we got to go take them in for tech, since everybody's going to be teching and sealing these motors. BL2 Mud Boss, Mike O'Brien, Tom Pirasani, and myself. EDM, Brad Hollinger, Bobby Butler, John Willman. Intermediate, Greg Stepsis, Chris Solt, Lucas Solt. Midget, Lance Batdorf, Billy Nye, Brett Hollinger. Mod Late Model, Bobby Butler, Scott Davies, George Varsdick. Mod Sprint, Phil Cooper, John Willman, Paulie Cramner. We're going to have Paulie on the show. I talked to him about that yesterday. That and Mike O'Brien. Rookie Mud Boss, Braden Hoffmatter. Traxxas Modified, Tom Pirasani, Dave Green, and it was Mac Groover in third. And let's see, what else do we got for results? Oh, we forgot the factory. We can't forget the factory, can we? Let me just type it in. I don't have anybody to fill the dead space while I type. So it's kind of a pain. Let me just see here. Anybody saying anything? Hey, Brian Palangar. Hey, Wes. Kurt Sieber is your hero. Hey there. Hey there, Billy. That's a rather loud, enthusiastic saying my name. I was going to call a couple of you guys, be like, hey, you would have come in. Yo, kart driver. Brett Hollinger. Jax Jans drives the bus that took everyone to school in 360 Sprint. Freaking Brett. Brett loves the Buster Balls. All right, the factory. 13.5 Mud Boss, Chad Billett, Jeff Foster, Jeff Kaminsky. 360 Sprint, Tyler DeNike, Owen Wise, Chris Spittle. 410 Sprint, Matt Hoggenhaltler. Casey Hess, Bryson Hartlob. Midget, Garrett Williamson, Casey Hess, Brad Weber. Mud Boss, Jeff Kaminsky, Camden Kaminsky, David Sarabach. Open Late Model, Casey Hess, Gil Palomino, and Chad Billett. Traxxas Modified, Jeff Foster, Tyler Denike, and Roy Denike. Let's see, they only had 3 Traxxas Modifieds. I'm surprised that hasn't taken off there. Let's see, we'll do the factory upstairs. The factory RC Raceway Indoor Carpet New Year's Cash Race. 2-wheel drive, 17.5 buggy. So Matt Hoggentotler took that. So he must have been doing double duty upstairs and downstairs. Sean Duffy second. Landon Welder third. 2-wheel drive, 21.5 buggy. Brian Waltman. And while I'm doing this, think of things that you want to talk about and ask. Or we're going to have a really short show. 2-wheel drive, 21.5 buggy. Brian Waltman, Justin Albright, Teresa Gamber. 2-wheel drive box stock slash, Jason Rohr, Donnie K, Jonathan Reichert. 2-wheel drive open buggy, Matt Hoggentotler, Jim Manos, Sean Duffy. 2-wheel drive open short course truck, Jason Hausman, Jamie Groff, Sean Duffy. 2-wheel drive open stadium truck, Cody Dudley, Jason Davis, Jerry Tobias. 4-wheel drive open buggy, Bob Walker Jr., Jason Wade, Landon Welder. Novice, Bea Gamber, Tyler Waltman, and Teresa Gamber. Let's see what else we got here. What else do we have to talk about? Park Lane had the PA State Mini Z Championship this weekend. Let's see who took that. 2500 lipo stock, Joe Katona, Enzo G, Mike Sully. 3500 GT, Ethan Miller, Joe Katona. Rue Gonclaves, I don't know how you pronounce that. All-wheel drive mod, The Stig, Eric Brickman, Mike Sully. Box stock GT, Angelo Morales, Juan J, Fabian J. Pan car, Ethan Miller, Merrill Myers, Chase Price. Pro stock AAA, Glitch Gordy, Fabian J, and the Stig. And that's racing for the week around here. Yeah, I do need. Does Crippy want to call in? Brett is my hero. Oh, that's Jax. Yo, what's up, Jax? Who's the best 360 sprint at Pheasant? Oh, man, is that not going to his head, Brett? Way to go. Man, you're going to be some fighting at Pheasant Land at 360 sprint now because of you, Brett. All right. So what do you got to say? What do you got to talk about? I have no clue. Maybe we should try calling Kyle. And we'll see what he's doing. Or if there's anybody whose number you want to throw out there, I will give them a call. Let's see. We're going to call Kyle. We'll see if he answers.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
He won't answer.
The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone.
So everybody, go out there, give Kyle some crap on Facebook, because he did not want to talk. I wish I could call Ghostbusters. Does anybody know any Ghostbusters to call? I don't know. I need a number. I might call Wes in a second. Let's just see what we got going on this week. Ultimate, they will be having, yes, their new Kydex bodies. They're showing up all over the place if you have not seen them. So go check those out. They look really good. And the 11th, that is this week. That is this Saturday night. The 11th, Ultimate will be doing the awards banquet for the spring and summer and fall series. So if you want to go to that, I think it's pretty much open to go. I would message them and see about that. I'm going to go. I believe Kyle's going to go as long as he's not sick still. And yeah, it's going to be a long drive because we're going to have to drive all the way from RJ's all the way up to the outskirts of Reading for that one. And don't forget, on the 17th and the 18th, the Pheasantland Big Indoor Show. What is that going to be called? Let's see. Let's see if we can find that. But that will be the 17th and 18th. The 2-day show, that's $35. Don't forget, it's $35. People have been talking about that price for a while. So it's $35 just in case you didn't know. It's 2 days. First day will be round 1 qualifying. Then Saturday will be 2 rounds of qualifying and features. They're going to do, it's the Rumble at the Rink. Friday night when they open at 4 o'clock for practice, and qualifying starts at 7. 3 rounds of qualifying, best 2 out of 3. 1 round Friday night and 2 rounds, and then the mains on Saturday. So there you go. You're going to do 3 rounds of qualifying. If you can't make it Friday night, that's fine. They're going to throw one of those out. So, I mean, you're better off trying to do as many rounds as possible. But hey, you know, do you if you can't make it on Friday. And let's see, who else? The Racer Series. We can't forget about the Racer Series. Next race coming up for that will be at Pheasantland on February 22nd. Then it'll be at RJ's on March 22nd. And the rest of the races will be at Leicester's, Ultimate, and Hoagland, but they'll be coming later on the spring and summer. So there you go. And don't forget the underdog races. They'll be coming up soon. Motorama's coming up soon. We got Snowbirds coming up soon, and I've been trying to see about getting a ride for that and going down to that. So that's, yeah, that's a possibility. Call Ozzy. Call Preston. I can't call Preston. Preston's bowling. He doesn't have gout. He's playing tug of war with Cyclops. How the hell did you sell Cyclops? He's just cleaning it and it accidentally went off. Are they doing any pre-entries? No pre-entries. The 22nd, shame. I am hanging myself on the 21st, so I won't make that one. What you talking about, Yak? You're not going to hang yourself on the 21st. We can't say that. Bring your wallet if you're going to go to Snowbirds. Is it that bad? Have you been to that, Mike Woods? What do you mean by bring my wallet? I mean, I bring it everywhere. I mean, what are we talking about? We're going to be spending a lot of money on tires, food, I don't know, beer, what? So I don't know. I've been kicking around with that because I really hate this weather up here. I hate this fucking snow. I'm about sick and tired of it. Yeah, so it would be nice to get away from this crap. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. Wait right there. I'm back. The phone is sucking down the juice. 5 times in 1 time. You won a... Yes, language. It's snow. You could say the F-bomb when you're talking about snow. So you went 5 times and 1 time national champion. What did you win? It's been a long time since I've done carpet oval. It's a little different than asphalt. Crippy wants to know why you want to talk to him, and he's worried you're going to set him up for a pedicure. By the way, did you see his new pitboard? I did see his new pitboard. It was nice. Super modified class. That's not a class they have now, is it? Oh. So Almond talks about, you know, a mud boss and a 17.5 truck. I've never driven a 17.5 truck. So I imagine that's going to be quite difficult. Probably have to practice on the RC simulator a bit. It's been a long time since I've driven carpet. And a long time since I've driven a pan car on carpet. Ugh. Yeah, why is Crippy so worried about that? Why would the four-toed sloth be so worried about me setting him up? And if you want to know who the four-toed sloth is, that's Mick. All right, we're going to do some random calls here. And we're going to see who answers the phone. Let's see. Let's see if Wes is going to answer. Nope. Oh, wait. We got a call. We got a call in.
What's up, man?
Hey, man. What's going on?
Good evening. So I just typed, I don't know if you saw it or not, there's a little bit of lag.
Yeah.
One of my questions is, and I'm going to kind of put you on the spot
Sure.
here.
Uh-oh.
What happened up at Pheasantland that caused Mike Merkel or crew to put out a notice about how to act in your pit and how to maintain and take care and police your pit table and pit mats required? What, go into details. Spill the beans on that for me if you don't mind.
Hold on. So glad you don't have my number, but it's on the bathroom wall if that's if you need it. That's from back on the yak. Yeah, I just looked back at your comment. What happened there? Well, we've had incidents in the past where people get a little angry at each other because no one ever gets angry at each other at racing, and people will go take it off the driver's stand and take it to the pits, and they put in a rule that no one can invade somebody's pits and try and pick a fight. So you could fight on the driver's stand, just not off the driver's stand. Does that make sense?
Clear as mud.
Okay, clear as mud. Yes, there were some incidents lately where people get tempers hot. They go follow somebody back to their pit and give them a hard time, and we don't really want people to do that because then things just escalate and things get out of hand. So that's why it's one of those, like, if you're not going to say it on the driver's stand, just don't say it at all. And if you are going to take it somewhere else, take it outside somewhere where it's not on the property. So
Interesting.
we just want to cut down on fights. Because, all the racers are pretty mellow and laid back and easy to get along with most of the time, right?
Oh, of course.
Yes, of course. And there's been some incidents of people borrowing other people's pit spots. And when the person who's running that pit spot comes back, the pit spot's kind of a mess. There's parts all over, dirt all over. You're supposed to bring a pit mat or a towel to put things down on. Mike does have things covered up with, some kind of heavy-duty blanket. But even then, we're supposed to clean them up and dust them off. So, and if you're at somebody else's pit, you got to kind of clean it up a little bit. So, I didn't really spend too much time at the pits. I was up on the announcing stand. So,
gotcha.
and I did hear that there was some problems with the video feed. And I really didn't know what they were using for it. So, when we went in there and saw, okay, they're using OBS. We tried to fix it, but the problem is it's just we're relying on the Wi-Fi that all the TVs are hooked to, all the racers are hooked to. And there's two Wi-Fis. One that's supposed to be private settings and then one that's open in public. But you know what happens if you give the Wi-Fi password to the private one to one person?
That person gives it to another, and so on.
Right.
And
And then there's a lot of lag. So what they're going to do is they're going to run a hard line connection over the computer. So hopefully that'll take care of the issue. Um, I know you guys, from what I've heard, like to hear us announcing. I hate it though, because there's things that get set up there sometimes that should not go out for public consumption. I mean, even worse than what we say on this show. So when Butler comes up there, I mean, the rule is if Bobby Butler comes up on the announcing table, we have to mute the mic. So, because it's Butler. Butler also has no problem with stripping for the camera. So, I mean, he's one of those people. So, yeah. So there's a lot of shenanigans going on.
well, as far as what's going on down here, down in Texas, down in the Gulf Coast region, everybody is amped up and getting ready for Chili Bowl. I'm not going to race that this year, but people are headed up now for the Mud Boss Shootout, which takes place a week prior to the RC Chili Bowl.
I thought they canceled that.
No, it's still on.
But how many entries do they have for the pre-entries? Okay.
I know there were. It's still on. We've got
All right.
some guys that are headed up there now for it.
We'll have to check it out and see what goes on there. I mean, I think I heard Dave Peak was going out to it. So we'll have to check that out and check out the results from that. I mean, I'm curious to see how that goes. Now, were you going up there to check out the Chili Bowl at all?
No, I'm not. Not this year. Just
okay.
work.
Okay.
I'm actually headed up to NDRC,
Yeah.
which is a track that's been up there for close to 40 years. Is actually, unfortunately, closing
Okay.
in 2 weeks, and they've got their final race going on the same weekend as Chili Bowl.
Okay.
So it's like everybody that's not going to Chili Bowl is
going there.
attempting to go
Yeah.
to this final race for the send off.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what's going on.
Now,
down here.
what's up with that shop closing?
What's his name? Mark Sanders, one of his home tracks.
Yeah.
So apparently the owners, from what I've been told, just want to go into a completely different direction, and they were looking overall at the business model. And I mean, you don't know what to believe, but from what I've heard, they're just it got to a point where they were barely making ends meet.
Yeah.
And I think they were just ready to sell and move into a different direction. They didn't get any potential buyers, so
Yeah. They got a big space too, right?
Excuse me?
They got a big space too, right?
It used to be.
Okay.
It was a indoor high, and I mean, Texas years.
And that really takes out the number of tracks you can go run at, doesn't it?
Yeah, to an extent, as far as the tracks that are running the state series that we travel to. Now, there's another one that's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and then right across the border in Oklahoma, there's a couple of them
Okay.
too. But like for that circuit, the Lone Star circuit that we travel to, between San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, Houston, and Oklahoma, South Oklahoma, that's just a bummer. That track's kind of been the anchor, I guess you could say.
I mean, it's one of those. If that falls, are the rest going to fall, or is someone going to step up and take over?
Yeah, and nobody was willing to step up and do that. And of course, there's been a lot of finger pointing on, a lot of pundits and a lot of armchair quarterbacks saying that things could have been done different.
No, always.
But
I mean, it's the one thing you always hear is like how everything could have been done a little different, a little better. I mean, but it's just there's always a difference of opinion on how to do things, but in the end, it's like someone has to do something, and it's not always right. So sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. I mean, it's just you only find out by doing it. I mean, we had that question. Garrett Williamson posted last week, like, what happens to make tracks close? And there's a lot of reasons why. I mean, and one of them is just a lot of the drama that goes on behind the scenes, and then there's the money issues. And you can't just running a racetrack is not cheap, even for RC cars. It's not cheap. I mean, you got to have a space for it, and that, Texas is not exactly a cheap state right now to deal with real estate anymore, is it?
No, it's been kind of
Yeah.
with a lot of folks relocating
Yep.
out this way.
Yep.
It's been different, but I think people kind of forget as well too, as far as the business plan
Yep.
and the research that goes along with it. As
Yeah.
far as for what's demand, state of economy,
Yeah.
where it's located, market
Yep.
saturation.
Well,
And, we can go deep into the weeds.
Yeah, you'd be crazy to open up a new track and hobby shop at this point that's big, unless you got some deep pockets, because it's a bad economy out there right now.
Right, and you also have the ability to let it take a loss for a significant period of time before you start seeing some profit with it. And like I said, Mark Santa Maria actually posted a video, kind of from 30,000 feet, as far as a high overview of just what you're looking at with monthly expenses and this and that, and what you need to drive and
And you guys are lucky in that you got a fairly temperate climate in the winter, so you don't need to worry about heat like we do. I mean, you got to worry about AC in the summer.
Except for this week, for that polar vortex.
Oh, is it cold again?
Yeah.
I mean, it's always cold here in Pennsylvania right about now.
Yeah.
So, and it's like when we talked to Merkel that time, and he's like, it's $2,500 to heat this place, and it's like, that is a tough nut to crack. And we don't run an air conditioning inside. There's very few places where you're running inside an AC. For the most part, though, we're running outside in the hot. So, which you guys, you probably do the same. Especially in a big space like that, you're probably running with no AC either.
Yeah, we're lucky that a lot of the tracks are covered.
Okay. Yeah.
They're basically like an outdoor.
Yeah, I saw that. Like down south, like you guys got a lot of tracks that are just you got some kind of canopy above it or some kind of awning so that you guys don't have to race in the hot sun. Down here, up here, we just don't have that. But up here, up here is just so expensive for real estate for just trying to lease a spot or anything like that. That's the problem.
Well, that's what it seems like. It seems like almost that you have to own the land.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you don't have to have that reoccurring cost.
That is like what I see a lot of. Like for most of these tracks that open, it's that somebody already owns it. It's just unused space, and then it's they got the racing bug, and then it's then they put a track in, and it goes from there. And it's just right now. Like. Right now, Pheasantland's doing really well. We're getting a lot of entries. Even Sunday, we had another 100 entries. Wednesday night we had 100 entries. 64 entries, I think, on Friday night, just because the weather was miserable. It kind of snowed off and on all day Friday, and by the end of the night, PennDOT really didn't do much to the roads. It had all melted on the roads. And then it was freezing up everywhere, so it was an ice rink out there. So then there were a ton of accidents in the area. And so a lot of people just didn't come out Friday night. But even then, 64 entries for a snow night, that's pretty good. And then we decided, well, we're going to do 3-minute rounds. Oh, we didn't get out any earlier than normal. I think I left there at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So, we were done by midnight, but by the time we get done and cleaned up and all that, it's like 1 a.m.
Yeah,
so.
we have the seating round, then we have 2 qualifying rounds, and then we'll go into a final. And it's still 8 hours of racing, easy. So I hear you.
And Wednesday night, we only did 1 round of qualifying, which I know like some people were upset by, but it was $20 as many classes as you can run. So that makes up for it, I think. And it got the show done, and we got done in a reasonable amount of time. I think we were done before 11. So.
Yeah, the only other hot topic I think that we're still kind of trying to figure out how to tackle down here, at least with this track. And it seems to pop up every couple of months is marshaling.
Yeah.
As far as, do we want the guys before they race the marshal, or is it immediately expected for them after? And then, you got the guys that are paying the $20 to $30, $25 entry fees to race multiple classes, and they get stacked up on top of one another. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's just that's something that we continue to struggle with.
Yeah. Let me just see. I'm catching up on the comment here. All right. Let me just catch up here.
Go ahead.
All right. Carpet is for munching. It's a long week. You race, eat, and sleep. Mike Woods. Then it was you. Billy, did you like his public service announcement? So glad you didn't have my number, but it's on the bathroom. Okay, we read that one. Does the track provide pit mats? Kind of covered that. No pit mats, just some folks are hogs. Chili bowl rules. Fight on the front straight and not on the pits. That's Billy. I'm really impressed with Billy this week. He did not cause any fights, and he was actually being nice. So, if you knew Billy, Billy was on the show the other week, and if you knew Billy, he gets very animated. So, that's what makes him fun. I still remember the first time we had a race. Billy was there, and he was really aggravated with things. So it's not a back bumper, Billy, but you basically put a back bumper on the front of your sprint car. That did some damage. Persley was fucked up, effed up, fired up. Okay, when I see the F word, I just refucked. See you at the top of the ramp. Damn, I forgot it again. As he should have, but at least Boyles admitted he screwed up. Yeah, Boyles. Okay, they're talking about real racing. What did you forget, Davies? No, he is a crew chief. They're talking about real racing here. They're not talking about our racing. They added fill-in class to make up for the lack of mud boss entries. Oh, they added fill-in classes. Okay. Dale Hartzell, 100 plus. Oh, there's no live feed. I saw that video on the farm show next week. Bring on that. Oh, is the rock that everyone else breaks themselves on. Kyle is the rock that everyone else breaks themselves on. That's a good one. I like that one. Farm show. Cover driver stand. 78 was a shit show. What happened to Todd Friday night? Where is all your podcast help today? They're sick. Billy is like a rabid goat. Yes. Unfortunately, and this is from Billy, unfortunately, marshalling will always be an issue unless you actually punish them. And Kyle did that the other week. Someone did not show up. Yeah, Davies, you always forget, but that's fine. You'll let me know about what I screwed up later. I know you, Davies. So yeah, Wes. Kyle actually held someone to, we marshal before a race. The idea behind that is, if you do not show up to marshal and we have to get a volunteer to cover for you, then you're not going to run your race. He did that the other week. And I asked Kyle, because I didn't know if like maybe the guy just had to leave or something like that. Kyle said, no, he was there. He just sat out the first round. He didn't even question it. And it's like, well, that's good. So, I mean, where I usually have a hard time finding marshals, the older we're getting, the worse this is going to get too. Is that there's so many of us drivers that are just unable to go marshal anymore. So you always need a volunteer. And then when you're talking about drivers doing back-to-back races, like one race yesterday, it's like 3 drivers needed a sub for them because they were either racing or they just couldn't marshal. So, if I need 4 marshals, there's only 4 people in that race. 3 of them I can't use. I can't call up. So then you got to find 3 more. And, it's pulling teeth. And I can't blame people because you get busy working on your stuff and you just went out there and marshaled 2 races ago and you got to go up and marshal 2 races from then. You kind of want to sit down and just get your stuff together. So,
Yeah.
and, at the end of the night too, it's just, in theory, the very last race of the night should be marshaled by the very first race, right?
Yeah, our very first race is
Right.
always the novice one, though.
Yeah.
I don't like those kids.
Right, yes. You
We
don't
want those kids.
Yeah,
With the sprint 10-5s.
right. We don't want kids going out there to marshal for the mod sprint guys. The mod sprint guy, those things are hellaciously fast. And, even then, I mean, it's 20 rounds later. Who's still around from the first round, especially when it's novice and that's the only class they're running? Who's still around to come out and marshal? No one. They're gone. So, I try to remind the guys in the race before. I'm like, hey, if you could wait and come on out and marshal for this next race, that'd be great. I mean, it's not that the mod sprint drivers are bad or anything, but those cars are just so fast. When something happens, it's just one wreck breeds another because it's just they get on top of each other so fast they don't really have a lot of time to see what's going on that track.
What's the most cars y'all allow to run, like during an A-main?
We typically stick to 8.
Okay.
Now, at times, we've been stupid and said, hey, do we really want to send home this one guy and then do 9? And usually, at the end of the night, you regret that because then it's usually a shit show. Sometimes, we used to do 10 on the indoor track when it was wood, and that was always a shit show. You spent most of the time avoiding wrecks, and it just was not fun, clean racing. But then again, at 8 cars sometimes, or even 6 cars, we've had really messy races. So, but typically once we get more than 8, then it gets to be a problem.
Yeah, normally what they'll do is for the A-main, they'll take the top 5, and then the B-main, the top 2,
Okay.
and the B qualifies, so we have 7,
Okay.
give or take.
We do 6, we qualify 6, and then we bump 2.
Gotcha.
Saturday at RJ's, somehow, some way, the lineup got screwed up, and 13.5 sprint, we had a B main with 4 cars. But for some reason, all the other mains were right, and they were starting with 6, and then they would bump up 2. The 13.5 sprint started with 8, and then we bumped in 2, and nobody really noticed until afterwards, because everybody went, why was that race just such a shit show? And it's like, well, that's because we had 10 people, and on RJ's is a very tight, small track, and it's real easy, for the faster guys to come up on the slower guys and you just wind up tripping over them and somersaulting down the backstretch, which was something I did. So that was fun. So yeah, RJ's is such a tight track. It's very hard to run 10 cars on. So we did it. It wasn't pretty, but we did it. So, and for the most part, I mean, road racing and off-road usually run a few more cars, but they always spread those out. I mean, on the mains, they do the just off the pole where everybody goes at once, but usually during the heats, they just spread them out. Like, they time everybody out to go like a second or 2 after each other. So, all right, let's see what we got going on here. We got some more comments. Feature races have marshal issues, yes. Mark the spots for marshals. Where you start is where you stand. Yeah, we've tried that. Then you know who isn't showing up, and you dock them 2 laps. You just have to enforce it. Yeah, I mean, it's something we always talk about, but we also talk about a lot of things. Like, we always talk about the 2-minute timer. It should only take, 2 minutes between rounds to get things going, right? I mean, that's not only with the marshals, but sometimes it's just hard getting the racers out there. Everybody was really good yesterday. A few people had to ask for time. Billy was one of them. And, we have to hold them to 2 minutes. So when they ask for that 2 minutes, we give them 2 minutes. I set the clock, and, once we start getting to you know, 1 minute and 45 seconds, then it's like, hey, are you coming or not? So, but you know, especially with sprint cars, get the sprint car off, you got to take the whole chassis, you got to take the whole roll cage off. That ain't fun. Billy, you're cute when you're mad, though. I don't have a short temper. I have a quick and assertive reaction to BS. I love 30 car practices. Makes you feel fast when you aren't. Yeah. 30 car practices, freeze practice Saturday morning. Yeah. One of the guys at Mud Boss, shout out, just texted me and said there might be live video tomorrow. Okay, so that's what Dale Hartzell said, there might be live video. That's from Chili Bowl. All right, so I think we're caught up on comments. I mean, yeah, we've. How do you guys do practice down there?
So I mean, for the most part, I mean it's pretty open. You know, what we do ask is after you do, you know, run a battery, or you know, after you do practice, that you stay back for a couple of minutes at least, to kind of help marshal in case somebody, you know, there's a hang up or whatever. But for the most part, honestly, practice is not. It's never been a serious issue. I mean, it's kind of common sense that, like, if we see, you know, 4 or 5 sprint cars out there run turn laps, usually the Mud Boss and the modifieds will wait. Or if they see the modifieds and the late models, they'll wait. And they'll practice together.
Are you telling me your guys wait?
Yeah.
Oh man.
They don't want to get their cars broke.
Yeah, I know. We don't either. But like when we have open practice here, and sometimes we'll segment it out and do a few minutes for just a sprint car, Mud Boss, and like, you know, on the really busy Sundays we try to do that, where, you know, we'll do 2 minutes for each class, 8 drivers. Maybe, you know, maybe 10 will sneak out there, but we try to hold it to 8. But it's so tough to do. It's, you know, because then you got to have someone sitting there monitoring practice while we're also trying to add entries in on the computer and answering a dozen questions while we're doing that.
Yeah, believe it or not, unless it's for a WFO, like one of those big events where we have 130 plus entries.
Yeah.
For the most part, practice is not that congested or that bad. I mean, it gets busy, but people wait.
At Pheasant Land, we just have, in most places I've been to, like, when it's open practice, it can be a real shit show at first. Usually what I found, though, is like as it gets later on in the practice session, it kind of calms down. Maybe that's because everybody's there fixing everything that broke because, you know, open practice. But, yeah, it's, you know, we've gone out there and, like he said, there'll be like 30 cars out there on the track. Not literally, but there'll be about 15 cars on the track trying to practice. And when you're doing that, nobody's really learning anything.
Right.
The idea is, you know, and this is what Kyle will usually tell them, take 4 or 5 laps, bring it in. Let somebody else go out there. But, you know, we do have people that go out there and run a whole battery. So, and, you know, usually
when I see that, it's usually they're trying to they're pushing or they're hooking really bad.
Yeah.
And they're adjusting.
Right.
That's
Yeah, but the idea is you go out there, you adjust, you pull it in, make an adjustment, take a couple minutes, let somebody else out there, then you go out and do it. But that just, it never works that way in the real world. So, I mean, I don't know. We're apparently terrible at self-policing. Which, I mean, that's probably where, you know, a lot of the problems come from. We're all terrible at it. So.
Right.
But,
one other thing. What in between rounds?
Yeah.
How long are y'all usually when y'all take a break in between rounds? How long is it? 15, 20 minutes?
Yesterday we did 7 minutes for Traxxas Mud Boss between rounds, where it's just Traxxas cars going out to practice, and then 7 minutes for Purpose Built. So it was 14 minutes, so it's about 15, 20 minutes by the time you're done. You know, when you're up on the announcing stand, especially if you got a car to get ready. You don't have time to do it, so that's your time to do it. But first, you got to make up the next round of qualifiers or next round of mains. You know, you want to go get something to eat, you want to hit the bathroom, and then you got to get your car done. So it usually winds up being about 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's
Smaller,
about where we're at.
yeah, smaller shows. I mean, you know, if it's a normal small show like a regular weekly show where it's 30 to 50 entries, it's usually about half an hour, sometimes 45 minutes. It all depends on how things are going and if the weather's nice. I mean, right now with 100 plus entries, I mean, we really got to push things through to get things done. Because nobody, last night I think we were done. Weren't we done around 6 o'clock? So it really wasn't that bad. I mean, we started at 11, got done by 6.
That ain't bad.
No, I mean, we're only doing 2-minute rounds of qualifying though. So, which I know some people don't like, but if we did, that just pushes things back another hour. So, we didn't get done any sooner than normal. So.
Yeah, our seating and qualifyings are usually 3 minutes, and then our mains are 4.
Yeah.
So,
See, we do laps for mains. So we do 30 to 35 lap sub features. So B's, C's, they'll all be like 35 laps. So that will take the bumps from, and then we'll do 50 laps for the feature. So you guys still run for time for mains?
Yep.
Okay. So it's all about just going out there running your own pace.
And we'll get 35 laps in.
Oh,
About 4 minutes.
You got to come up here and try this then. Oh, you got to come up here and try this. 50 lap races. We start, line them up in order of qualifying. Fastest guy gets to be up front, and then after that, like, they let the green flag go, and all hell breaks loose. So, yeah, you got to try that. It's something different. It is a free for all.
I'm gonna get up there at some point. I'd like to. Hopefully, if possible during the spring.
I'm telling you, the
Whatever.
17th would be a good race for you to come out to, that 2-day show. But then again,
That's like in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, not 2 weeks, next week. So next Friday.
Next week.
And then we got we're doing it over Chili Bowl weekend because there's a lot of guys up here that just aren't going to Chili Bowl. Like Dale, he's going. I'm not sure who else is going, but yeah.
I tell you what, I hope they're drinking their vitamin C, man, because
Yeah, everybody's getting sick lately.
God, I've heard interesting. I've heard such freaking stories from last year about people getting the flu and.
Oh, I believe it.
Why? I guess they went there, and the week that they were there, it was damn 17 degrees and.
Yeah.
Snow and,
Oklahoma is not a freaking warm place, man.
No, it's like Korea. It's hotter than hell in the summer, and then, in the wintertime, there's wind, and then there's Oklahoma wind.
Let me ask you, would you live in Oklahoma?
Oh, yeah, believe it or not, Oklahoma is actually there's a lot of solace there. It's very peaceful.
Okay.
And it's nice to drive through. The problem with Oklahoma is that air that comes up off of the Rockies and what causes all those tornadoes and shit to occur. And and like I said, the weather is just absolutely insane. We're Tulsa. Tulsa's just southwest of Missouri.
Yeah.
Literally. So I mean, they've got that. They get those cold, harsh winters and ice.
Yeah, that's the thing. It seems like Oklahoma, you're frying. No offense, but it just sounds like, oh man, it just sounds brutal. Because Texas is a little more
degree. Southern tip, it was 89.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, because you get that Florida weather down most of it. Yeah, because that's where you're at too, right? Because you're on the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, so we get hit with the humidity, and we have to deal with the hurricanes and shit. But then up in Dallas, what I mean, they deal with all the ice storms. It never ceases to amaze me. Every year, they seem to get some kind of ice storm up there.
Didn't a few years ago they had that ice storm that just screwed everything up because nobody had insulation in their house.
Yeah, and that's got PTSD for a lot of folks down here. Too.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically like I have.
I don't understand that. Yeah, I don't.
That y'all have. We don't have the salt trucks. Our
Yeah.
telephone poles are not reinforced to, I mean, they become
Right.
brittle super quick. And, when that snowstorm came through all the way down to Galveston a few years back, I mean, we had no trucks or nothing to clear any of the roads.
And I gotta imagine, like, with all the water pipes bursting and freezing up, like, you guys don't bury your water lines down like under 3 feet like we do.
That's correct. Everything's PVC for the most part. And
Right.
It snaps.
Right underneath the slab.
Yep.
Oh man. Well, let me see what these guys are saying here. We're at 8:30 already. What's that?
I just read one of the comments that says, "Don't forget Whataburger." Yep, that's fantastic.
See, I was in Texas and I never stopped at a Whataburger, so I think I missed out, didn't I?
Oh, shame on you, man.
I
Don't let anybody ever trick you into thinking that In-N-Out Burger is better than Whataburger.
my friend, she's like, "No, you got to try Whataburger." I'm like, "Nah, man, I don't think I do. I never heard of this."
When Patrick Mahomes has them build one for him up in Kansas City,
Yeah.
that ought to tell you something.
Okay. I mean, I being in Pennsylvania, I never heard of Whataburger, and I'm like, "What are all these? What is this place?"
Yeah, I don't get it, man. Because if you did. Like, do y'all have breakfast tacos up there?
Breakfast tacos? Yeah, I mean, there's some of that. I mean, it's not
And kolaches
super
and things
popular.
like that?
Wait, what?
Kolaches.
What's a kolache? I think we might. That sounds
It's
Polish.
like a giant pig in a blanket, I guess you could say.
I would think it sounds Polish, man. It does. Davies here saying mod sprint would maybe do 56 to 58 minute laps in 4 minutes. Yeah, we have problems with people washing tires and stuff and draining stuff into the bathroom sink when we have a brand new wash tub for tire washing.
Ticket to getting your ass kicked out.
Listen, we have a problem with people.
If you take tires into the bathroom.
We have a problem with people peeing on the floor.
God.
Yeah, but then again, I've taken notice of that now when I go out to like restaurants or anything, because I went to the bar across the street and I'm like, they piss on the floor here too. So it's not just there. They're just not used to the cold weather down there, Hartzell says. There's 20 different Walmart strip joints and barbecue joints in Tulsa. That's it. What strip joint would you recommend, Billy? Doesn't have shit on Steak and Shake.
That could be debated.
Wait,
those steak burgers are completely different from this type of burger.
Have I been to a Steak and Shake? I think I might have. What does that look like?
Steak and Shake's chili mac is incredible.
Yeah, I've been to one of those. It wasn't bad. Steak and Shake doesn't even have ice cream. They have shake. It's like ice cream, isn't it? Should we get into this debate about whether a salad is a sandwich? I mean, we can get into that. Kyle wanted to start that, and he's not here, so we could beat him. Oh, Barney wants to call him. All right, and we'll talk with Barney here and see what he's up to. All right, man. Appreciate you taking the call. Thank you very much, man.
All right, goodbye.
Appreciate it. Talk to you. Bye. Yeah, call. Barney's always good for something fun. Hey, Barney Tan.
Hello.
How are you tonight, Barney?
Hey, I'm good.
Okay, well, talk a little louder here so the audience can hear you. We got live, my brother and yours, Barney Tan. The midget wrestler.
Oh yeah.
Say, hey,
What's the midget wrestler?
we got a question from Terry Davis. His question is, do you start the race when the leader crosses the line or when the whole field crosses the line? All right, that's a good question. I'm sure this is going to spark some controversy. Yakko's actually makes a damn good burger, but Yakko's is hot dogs, man. All right, so what do you say, Barney? Yakko's? Do you like Yakko's?
I have not tried that thing yet, so I
Really?
don't know how it tastes like. Yeah.
They're all right. I mean, they're hot dogs.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's a hot dog. I don't really get why they're so awesome, but they're all right hot dogs. I mean, I wouldn't turn one down, but I don't know.
I guess I'm gonna give that a try sometime.
Yeah, you should. I mean, there's only tons of them in Allentown. All right, so we got a race here. Does the race start when the leader crosses the line, or does the whole field cross the line? Can you pass someone coming out of 4? If you're 6th, they're 5th, and the leader crosses the line, can you pass them before you hit the line?
When we gotta cross the line, then we can pass them if we can.
Okay.
So we won't pass anyone until the whole everyone's like start racing. Then.
All right, we're determining the rule for this tonight. So let's see what the Peanut Gallery has to say about this. Red Rabbit on the people are still talking about food. Want me to call and explain Scott's comment about Steak and Shake not having ice cream? We'll call you then, Billy. We'll call you after this. We'll talk to Barney. Now let's get your opinions on when this race starts. I don't know, Barney. What if somebody lays back on the start?
Then I guess that we gotta start the race again.
Well, let's just say the leader takes off. Second place doesn't go. But everybody from 3rd on back was ready to go, and 2nd place just dropped the ball. Can you pass them?
If we can, then I guess if it's me, then I'll say yes. I'll pass him.
Okay. All right, but should you try and jump the start and get ahead of everybody?
No, not the first lap yet.
All right, I'm going to say I have to agree with you. You probably shouldn't go in there and try and pass somebody before you take the line. But every track we race at, the line's different. At Ultimate, the timing loop is out of 4. In Pheasantland, middle of the straightaway. RJ's, it's going into 1. So do we change that rule depending on what the timing loop is?
That is a good question. It depends on the announcer, because the announcers see everything.
Yeah. No. I will tell you as an announcer, we do not see everything. Not on the start.
You're right.
Because it's hard to see everything that's going on because you're just trying to make sure the race is started, everyone's going, and you're waiting for them to cross that imaginary line or wherever it may be on that track, that there's not a wreck and you don't have to call it back. And you also got to pay attention too, like, okay, did they wreck by themselves or did someone involve them?
Yeah, you're right. Let's say like the factory.
Yeah.
It's really hard, like, see what happened on a front stretch.
Yeah.
For the announcers.
Yeah, for Brock, like sitting over there in the stand, it is hard to see off to the right side because he's back there in a corner.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is a good question there. Like, I don't know. Like, if since I'm a racer and what I see and what the announcers see, it's way different.
Yeah.
So it's up to the announcer, like, called it.
Okay.
So
let's say you let's say you fumbled the start and one person gets by you. Are you okay with that?
Yes, I'm okay with it.
Okay, if you know, especially if you screwed up. Now, what if somebody was laying back to jump the start and then goes passing by you and 3 other cars? Are you okay with that?
Yes, I'm okay with that.
Okay, you're okay with that. All right. Um, what's everybody else think? I mean, I usually figure on those kind of starts. All right, here we go. We got opinions. All right, Billy wants to call in, so we'll have to call him in. Can we conference call Billy in? Mike Woods. So, all right, Scott Davies. So the rule should be out of 4, no one passes a car until they cross the loop. But what about when the loop changes? Maybe he got into that. Mike Woods, can't pass till you pass the stripe the first time. So wait, you can't pass until you pass the stripe for the first time. You mean when you're coming out of 4 or you've done a whole lap? The bigger question from Scott Davies is, when do you call the start official? We got an answer for that. When do we call the start official? The start official for Pheasantland, you see that white line in the middle of the backstretch. That's the official start. If you make it past there, nobody wrecks, not by themselves, then we call it a start. If you get sent or there's a tangle, we're going to call it back. But if you loop yourself going into 1 and 2, that's on you. We can't call it back if you loop yourself. Now, if somebody looped you, we're going to try and catch it, but it becomes a judgment call after a while, and sometimes you don't always catch them. So it might be that, if you want that start redone, you might have to yell if somebody took you out. Or as some people will say, like, if you're going to wreck, make sure you take somebody with them on the first lap. What do you think about that? What do you think about that opinion, Barney?
Well, oh man, it's hard to say because, man, I don't know how to say that thing.
Well,
Or,
we just got a good comment here.
yeah.
Someone says Scott is unfortunately correct. Is it unfortunate that it's Scott, or just unfortunate for that rule? Scott Davies, in my opinion, you should call it official. You should call it official until all cars make a full lap, unless someone spun out or crashed alone. What I like is in road racing is you've road raced before, Barney, right?
Yeah.
What I like is that there's always the rule of no passing until you're out of the first corner. So you have to go through the first corner in that line, and after you get out of that first corner, then you're allowed to make a pass. I kind of wish we had something like that in oval, where it's like, okay, we're going to go off of 4, no passing until you come out of 2. And then hopefully everybody will stay in line and try not to run over everybody. I don't know. That's just me, though. Jimmy Beans, is there free beer at the gay bar? Where is everybody? Listen, for just me, we got a lot of people on the show. What's the actual rule for starts? Back on the act. Remember, you can win the race in the first corner. Yes, you absolutely can. Scott Davies, on which lap? First lap. Coming out of 4, when the leader takes the green, everybody else is single file until they pass the stripe the first time. Should be the first lap. To be fair, I've never seen this be an issue. Starts have always been the same. If you don't have a crash, let them eat. And usually restarts, then goes to sitting start. We do, Barney, how about it? We do the third restart, there's no callbacks. If you can't, if you manage to wreck the first 2 times, we'll do a mulligan. But then the third time, it's like, well, you're on your own. So if you screw this up, you're done.
Yes.
So.
I like to stay on my position. Like, let's say I'm starting like on 4th position.
Yeah.
On the A main.
Yeah.
If someone passed me, like let's say you're in the fifth spot,
Yeah.
if you pass me, I'll say, all right, go for it, and I'll start following everyone. And if anyone crashes, then hopefully that I can pass you back and take
Yeah.
my position back. Then I'm good. If anyone passed me, go for it. I
Yeah.
don't really care about it in the A main. So hopefully no one crashes or hit the wall by accident. Like let's say if I hit the wall by accident, anyone pass me, go for it. I
Yeah.
didn't really mind about like as long as we have a good clean races, then we're good.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say like if someone snookers you on the start and gets by you, eventually it's going to come back on them, because if someone keeps doing that to you, Barty, eventually you're going to do it back to them, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. I mean, there's very few people that do sneaky starts like that. I mean, usually it's more leader and second and third place trying to time things out, where the leader's trying to fake people out. And I'm good with those psychological games. I like that people do that. Makes it interesting, I think. When someone's like, oh, I'm going to go really slow, and then all of a sudden pick up the pace when nobody's expecting it. Or someone, and I've heard of a few people doing this, like Kyle, they'll back off all of a sudden, so the guy behind them has to back off or run into them, and then they'll just take off. So, I think Kyle's done that to me.
Yeah, I've seen it. Uh-huh.
Back on the yak, Chili Bowl. Chili Bowl, if you're going to wreck, well, make sure you take someone with you, yes. Scott Davies, the reason this question came up is because when the leader makes one lap, the race is official. But if two guys in the back tangled out of two and haven't crossed the loop for one, it's not restarted. Yeah. Everyone should make one full lap before the start is official. I mean, that's something to bring up at the next rules meeting. I mean, unless they do themselves in. Can we put Billy on soon? Exactly. Unless the car that crashed is solo. Get Barney off the phone and get Billy on there. Agreed. Sorry, Barney. All right. Barney, I'm going to let you go get Billy on here. We're still...
Hey, thanks for calling.
No.
I'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks for getting on there. Thank you, Barney.
Right, bye-bye.
See you. Bye. All right. I know you won't be a dick, Billy. Give me your number. All right. I'm just gonna call you on Facebook here. So we got Billy again on the phone. There we go, Billy. Are you there?
What the hell's going on with... Oh, I know what it is.
I don't know. I'm not on your end. I am not tech support. You did not call it. You did not call tech support. I am sorry. I cannot help you today.
Hey, there we go. Winner.
All right, there you go.
Yay.
All right, Billy. You got opinions, and you got stories. Let's hear them.
Well, so, this whole deal about the starts.
Yeah.
Maybe I just got too much big car in me,
Okay.
but I always ask wherever we go RC racing, what's the rule in the starts? Is it when the leader fires, the green's out, and we're all going?
Yeah.
Or do we have to pass a certain spot?
I always...
Because
Go ahead.
me being big car racer, if it's when the leader fires, I'm going to take every advantage I can if I'm not the pole sitter, and
To take a spot.
I will blow by your ass every single time.
Yeah.
I'll let you swerve the car or whatever. I think maybe if you want to do it that way, do like what USAC does, or like High Limit. They have a cone. I mean, I'm not saying you got to put a cone on the track.
Yeah.
But put something visual off turn 4
Yeah.
that says you have to hit this line before you can pass.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it off turn 2 because that's going to cause nothing but headaches and disasters and wrecks and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, road racing, that's usually how we do it. First turn, passing can begin. We all stay in line.
Road stuff, the tracks are more narrow.
Yeah.
So it's easier. You don't have that.
You're already
It's not a rolling start.
You're already in a bowling alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not doing a rolling start. Where with the oval stuff,
Yeah.
you got to do the rolling starts because if not, it's going to be even a bigger disaster, especially with the.
For the longest time, we did standing starts at Pheasantland, and they were always a disaster. So.
Yes, I did that at that race you brought up earlier.
Yeah.
And I hated it.
Yeah. I look at it this way. The leader's got to come out of 4. Once the leader comes out of 4, you come out of 4, you can't pass him until out of 4. That's how I look at it. So if I'm third and I'm going to dive underneath second, I can get beside him coming out of 4, but I can't get ahead of him till I'm out off of 4. I mean, that's how I look at it. Like, technically, if you're going to go by him, you're trying to get a run, your car should not be past the front wheels of the person in front of you.
Okay, that was going to be my next thing. What
Yeah.
do you consider bad?
Like, if I would say, if it's behind the front wheels, you're side by side, I think that's all right. So,
Okay.
I mean, that, some guys start slow.
Yeah, and that's their prerogative. I don't
Yeah.
have a problem with playing games on starts.
I don't either.
I've tried racing all my life.
Yep.
The thing that I don't like is when, like you brought up with Kyle,
Oh,
I'm okay with starting slow and picking pace up or whatever.
Yeah.
But that brake checking horse shit, that just causes more.
causes more
accidents
wrecks.
and then-
That's usually what happens. I see when that happens. I mean, I usually start slow because I'm looking forward to that first wreck on the next lap when they don't call it back. That's what I'm looking for. Because more than likely, I mean, how many times we've been out there and
Take every advantage you can.
half the field wrecks themselves on lap 2.
Yeah.
So you've taken the line. I mean, what race? I guess the BL2 race yesterday.
Yeah.
Those first few laps, everybody was just in a conga line. You're just waiting for the wreck to happen. Nobody spread out. Nobody could get away from each other. And like I'm behind Paulie, and I'm like, well, I'm faster than him. But you got to constantly check yourself to keep from running into him. And then you got to worry about the guy behind you doing the same. And you got to worry about, okay, well, I'm checking up so I don't hit him. What if I'm checking up too much and the guy behind me gets into me? Then basically I just caused my own wreck. It's nerve-wracking those first, I mean, how long were we in that conga line? It was almost 10 laps, wasn't it?
Well, not towards the back, but
No, oh.
front, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what got Nick all wound up. But
yeah, it was interesting hearing that. So I'm just like, well, I didn't do that. So,
no, that wasn't you.
no, that benefited me though. I will say so. I got to thank Mick for that.
No, you don't.
No, all right.
I didn't realize that's what that line was on the backstretch, and everybody
Yeah.
has to clear that.
Yes.
Makes sense, but
That was just put out there. That was just put out there to clarify things.
At the drivers' meetings on Friday and Sunday, you bring that up. That way everybody knows, because we see all these lines, but none of us back there in the back room had a clue what the hell all the lines are for.
Okay. Well, I'll remind them, like, hey, listen, I'm not really privy to all that goes on behind the scenes there. I just, come in there, do my thing.
No, I get that, man.
So, I mean, to me, it's always, usually it was coming out of 2. As long as there's no wreck coming out of 2, we're fine. We're going. But now they put that on the backstretch, and I don't think we really had too many callbacks yesterday.
No.
It was pretty reasonable. The one that we probably had the most on was that intermediate race.
You can have that with the,
Right,
the
right,
beginners.
Right. That was interesting. So
And that's what Nick and I used to always do. We go green coming off 4 at Birdsboro, and if everybody made it through 2 without junking each other,
it was a
it's
race.
on you now.
It's on.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And if you're going to go by yourself, you better make sure you take someone with you, because if not, you're screwed. So.
It's kind of bad to think that way, but yeah, you're right.
Right. Listen, other people have said it,
Yep.
and I've been pulled into it, and like I don't really have an issue with it. As long as they're not tearing you up, I mean, it's fine. It's like, all right, well, that's fine. We'll just get a restart. I mean, we always hope you can always get that good start where everybody wrecks. You can go from last to second, but how often does that happen? So no, not until lap 2. That's when if that.
Depending on what class it is, because that's one kind of neat thing about Pheasant Land now is there's so many classes that you just breathe wrong, fart wrong, whatever, and you go from TQ to 15th, and it's like,
well,
I only screwed up a little bit, but that's kind of what makes it fun.
Let's see, we got a whole bunch of comments here. Scott Davies was excited to get you on here. Shouldn't Barney be out buying lifts for his shoes, sandbagging? Rob H. Leader controls the start. It's a strategy to bottleneck the guys behind you. Jimmy Beans, I meant your co-host wasn't calling. Audience. I meant your co-host wasn't calling audience. When leader goes, you can set up high or low, but no passing until after the line. Billy is on. Wait, I need a moment for cleanup in aisle 7. Who is back? Who is back on the yak fishing?
The only one I can think of is Brian Regal, but he doesn't give 2 shits about RC stuff to begin with anymore.
Yeah. Jax wants a phone. Get me a phone. Oh, you think the line on the back, Davies? That line down the middle of the back stretch. I think that's what they put there for the callback line. That's what I was using yesterday. If nobody wrecked before that line, we were green. So I think
too, be done with it.
that's where I would say, but I don't know. We're gonna have to clarify that. So I guess that's tomorrow night's topic at the drivers meeting. And are we gonna cover jumping starts?
I would, if you're gonna do it tomorrow night, I would also reiterate it on Friday and Sunday. Damn, look at that big word out of me.
Reiterate.
Snowstorm.
Does everyone have to pass the line? When Davey says, does everyone have to pass the line? I mean, yes, everyone has to pass the line except if you wrecked yourself. If you spun yourself coming off a 2 or you spun going into 1, I can't call it back.
Yeah.
That's on you. And if you felt someone spun you but I couldn't see it, I can't call it back. Because that's a judgment to see something going on. But if you're lollygagging back there at the back of the pack, running 7th or 8th, and the leaders are coming out of 2, they cross the line, and all of a sudden I see that you're spun out in 4, and was too busy watching them. Like I can't call it back if you think that you were running 7th and 8th hit you. So I mean, sometimes it just doesn't get caught. So
yeah, and that's where you guys have the announcer stand. That's probably the best option. Because you can kind of see everything without really turning your head, but you're never going to see everything.
Yeah. The biggest issue I have is that laptop screen is just right in front of me, and I can't see 4. And when cars go high, I lose them.
That was my deal when I helped out trying to call mod spread. It's like shit happens way too fast to have anything kind of obstruct your view at all.
Yes, and then you're trying.
That's why I don't want to call mod spread there.
And you're trying to keep up with the lineup and watch that because like yesterday, there were some transponder issues, so you're trying to keep up with that and watch it. And this wasn't in Mod Sprint, but any of the races with 8 cars, it's like, what the hell's going on? So like you're too busy trying to figure that out, and the whole race is going on. So
yeah, anybody that thinks it's easy to do that stuff,
no,
I invite you to come up and shadow somebody that's calling a race.
The worst thing is when you're up there and like you've looked at the screen to do a read down, and then you look up, and it doesn't even seem like it's 10 seconds later. All of a sudden, the guy that was running second now is seventh. And it's like, what happened there? What? And you just see them running. It's not like they're in a wreck. They're not getting marshaled. It's like, what happened? Is there something screwed up with the timing? Because it looks like they're in the same spot. That happens. And then you got to quick like look at the thing and see what went on. And it's just
That
like,
happened
yeah.
on Friday at Richfield.
Yeah.
That's another story.
Right. And you don't know if it's like maybe a transponder issue. I know Henry the other week, he was having a lot of transponder issues with his one car. So then you're like trying to watch it. Is he clicking? Is he going off? And, you know, and then another thing too is like we have so many new people coming in. You don't know who they are or what their cars are. And you're trying to keep track of like, which car is that? That car running third, is that his? That, you know, let's say it's Johnny Antonio. Johnny Antonio is running third. What car is he? So you can call it off. What's that?
That car right there.
Yeah, you gotta watch to see when things pop up.
Yeah.
All right, Mike Wood says, here's another topic: missed laps. Should the race director update, or do you lose the laps? Depends. That really depends on how many cars are in that race. If there's very few cars in that race, or Dave Bartels would be able to keep up with the whole race and mark everybody's lap in. I swear he could.
Yes, Dave's good at that.
Yes. Now, if it's normal announcers, there's only so much you can do. Like I noticed with somebody the other week, it's like it was one of those issues where all of a sudden they went from second to seventh, and it's like they haven't changed position. They're still running behind the leader, but all of a sudden they're all the way on the back of the field. How did this happen? It could not have happened. So then, you know, it's like, okay, I think they just missed a lap. So then, yeah, I added a lap back in. So nobody yelled at me afterwards, so I'm assuming I did it correctly. So
I had that happen to me a couple times, and luckily everybody was like, no, you were legit second or wherever it was. I mean, it wasn't like,
right.
Because, I mean, of course, I'm like, what the hell? There's no way. I didn't get past. No.
Yeah.
And everybody else, and it was a heat race.
Yeah.
So, and everybody else was like, no, he was second. There was no way. If anything, he might have won, but we don't know because it was based on time. But
yeah.
Us.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's up to the race director, and you got to have people paying attention. If nobody paid attention to you, and like you're kind of you don't have a case to stand on. You know?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean it's best thing to do is like hopefully it's early in the run, like an early heat race. You can go up, look at your times. The problem, I missed every other lap. Like I had one lap that was a 6, the other one that was a 12. I'm like, yeah, we'll check your transponder, and then they can help you check your transponder when you put it down.
And that way, it also seems like it depends on where you have it mounted in the car.
Yeah.
Depending on where it's mounted, it'll screw things up too.
Right. Back on the Aquasite, you can also see the signal strength. Yeah, so we can always look at that. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's another thing. Plus, we learned the other week, like that loop, we can change the signal strength on that too. So, because remember when Dickie brought his Charger? Yes, his Charger. I mean, he was trying to reinvigorate Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it, completely screwed up the whole timing system.
Yep.
That was 45 minutes we never get back.
Yeah, because he tried yelling at me.
Yeah.
And I politely told him he was wrong.
All right, Jason. Everyone should know where you're running in a heat racing is tough to control because everyone is on their own laps. It's hard to keep up with the feature too.
Yeah.
8 cars out there. I mean, it would be nice to say like you can keep up, but when we get 4 cars in a wreck and it resituates the whole field because leaders were in it and cars in the back of the pack were in it, it's hard to keep track of that. Like who came out when and where, because then you get a wreck in turn 1 and 2 with 4 cars. You get another one up in 3 and 4 with 2 cars. Like okay, well, who's going to come out where and what? So, and we wind up 5th place, goes out, passes them all, and winds up in the lead. It's like, and if his transponder doesn't work, I mean, it misses a lap for some reason. You can't just verify it through visual. So, and it's hard to keep track of that shit. How many times have you lost trace of yourself on the track because of wrecks?
Depending on if it's like wreck after wreck after wreck, then
Yeah.
it's like, oh shit, where am I at? But if it's only one, you kind of
Yep.
have an idea where you're at.
Like yesterday, the BL2 feature, I almost wanted to tell Preston, I'm like, where's everybody running? Because, if you find out, like Mick yesterday, let's say he was running 3rd early on in the race, and, next thing I know, I'm coming up past him. He get wrecked early on, and I'm actually, lap part, and it doesn't matter. So, because as a driver, I don't know, like, all right, did Michael now he's coming back around, coming up through the field to get back to the lead, or, is he just coming around to lap us? So, back of the act, the show is much more tolerable when nobody is talking over one another, by the way. All right, we got it. Jimmy Bean says, out of 4 of your leader, all there is to it. I'm saying as a driver more than an announcer. I mean, Jason Hyde said more as a driver than the announcer. I mean, for the most part, yeah, but like sometimes there's just so many wrecks. I mean, you can't keep track of all of them. Like sometimes it just gets jumbled. So
sometimes it's just an unorganized cluster. You know what?
Yeah, it's a shit show.
Yeah.
4 off your leader. I agree with that. I mean, when you're coming off of 4, if you're you should be able to make a pass. So,
all 4 leader fire. Well, all 4 it goes green. So,
yeah. I mean that's it. So, what's the steak and shake no ice cream? And what's the strip club you know about in Oklahoma?
I went to the Chili Bowl in 09.
Huh?
And
09.
Yeah.
That's going on, 20 years ago, man.
It ain't that far yet.
25. I mean, you're 4 years off. 15. I mean, jeez. Come on.
But yeah, back then I was worried about going to the Chili Bowl and hanging out with my friends and all that. So I really didn't care about going to strip joints. Not only that year they were sponsored by a strip joint. And
wait, Chili Bowl was sponsored by a strip joint?
Yeah, they were one of the associate sponsors, and they had girls there every night. But no.
Have we thought about doing that again?
What?
Getting strip clubs to sponsor us.
Shit, I need sponsors. I don't care. I don't care how ugly they are.
For RC racing or big car racing?
Big car racing, because we don't have any sponsors right now.
I'm talking about for RC car racing.
Well, either way.
Yeah, I mean, we should start putting out some feelers for this.
But the girls were not pretty at all, and it was just
no. So it
would be like having you and Kyle in drag. No, nobody needs to see that shit.
No, I don't even know why you mentioned it that way, because that just sounds horrible.
Well, that's why. It was bad. I mean, and they had summer teeth too, so it was like no.
Summer teeth. Okay. Let me hear the steak and shake story.
So, in 2019, we went out to Indiana to run the 305, and that's all I kept saying about was steak and shake, because every year I would go out there, that's all we'd eat, and it was great.
Okay.
Well, we go run Friday night at Gas City. We run against the non-wing 410 guys, and we only had a 305, and we took the wings off and ended up making the show and whatever. But we get done running, and the only place that was open was Steak and Shake.
Okay.
In the next town over in Marion.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know this at the time, but Marion, Indiana is like the meth mecca of the Midwest.
Oh wow! All right, so this is gonna be good.
So, and everybody that doesn't know my mom has no clue where I get it from. I'm calm compared to my mom.
Okay.
So we go into the Steak and Shake, and you could tell the waitress was whacked out. She was just strung out and whatever. So we place our order, and then we all start ordering. I go to order a shake. She goes, "Oh no, we're out of ice cream."
Okay.
And my mom goes, "So if anybody doesn't want to hear swearing, please
No.
close your ears."
They're used to that on this show.
What in the fuck is the name of this place? It is called Steak and Shake. You're sitting there telling me you don't have fucking ice cream at a place that's called fucking Steak and Shake.
What was the response?
Well, that's just it. Well, here,
Yeah.
he was sitting there fiending, and her damn drug dealer was out in the parking lot,
Okay.
and she went out and had to go get her shit.
Oh. Okay.
Meanwhile, the police act was people in the race and other idiots that were there
Yeah.
in the neighborhood.
Other
And-
idiots.
Listen,
You have such a disdain for the general
I'm trying to be
public.
nice.
Yeah. Okay.
So meanwhile, this little black who just had both her wrists done for carpal tunnel.
Okay.
I think she had something screwed up with her one leg. She
Okay.
just got operated on. Was running the drive-through and trying to take care of everybody
Okay.
in the whole Steak and Shake. And she comes over. She goes, "I don't mean to pry, but I heard what was said there. We
Yeah.
have plenty of ice cream. She's just a lazy bitch and didn't want to make it." Ted was out doing whatever to get her bag. One of the but it doesn't have ice cream.
All right. Well, I've been to a Steak and Shake, so I that's one I've been to. Not the water. I wish I would have. Be that drill sergeant in real life, though. I mean, I'm glad you're not my crew chief. You put Mick through.
Well, I helped you a little bit, and
Yeah.
I didn't. I wasn't too hard on you.
No. But I mean, you know Mick well.
Yeah, I mean that's I know how what I can say to push Mick, and he does the same thing with me with the RC stuff or the big car stuff.
Yeah.
Just like Keith and Scott and Perry
Well,
and John.
we always appreciate your help.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, you have a special relationship with Mick there.
Wow.
I mean, you cost him toes.
No, I didn't. even though the prick said the last time he was in to get the left side locked off was my fault because we went disc golf in the 2 days before he went in. But that had nothing to do with it.
Really? So your disc golfing adventure cost Mick some toes?
That's what he says, but he's full of shit.
You know, we got a lot of people on right now. They want to hear about why you got Mickey's toes cut off.
Trust me, I didn't want to. Actually, it was Keith's fault because
Now it's Keith.
I hated the damn course.
Yeah.
Nick hates the damn course, and it's down to French Creek.
Okay.
Both of us hated it, but Keith's like, "Oh, I want to try a wooded course. That doesn't sound that bad." Blah 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 blah. So we went, and then that was on a Friday.
Yeah.
And we came down the race with you guys Friday night.
Okay.
And Monday, Mick wakes up and he's like, "Yeah, my foot just doesn't look too good."
Oh man.
And then he goes in and gets pretty much the whole left side of his foot lopped the hell off. And then I lost my main through guy for the big car. And,
How many toes can he lose before he can't walk anymore? He has no balance.
well, what the hell? He has no toes on his right foot and he's walking on that.
All right. All right.
It's not like he's sitting there doing donuts.
No, he's doing donuts. Yeah. All right, so let's go to these comments here. Strippers and curb rippers. Racers would be staring at the girls like a little Debbie we don't really even at the track. So I mean, I'd hate to see what would happen if we brought in a bunch of strippers.
You sure you have a pretty mouth?
And back on the hour is your relationship with a special relationship. Scott Davies, true story. He sold his.
No. He knows damn well who paid for that, and it wasn't us. It was given to us.
Oh.
If that.
Back on the act. Good Billy doesn't have a foot fetish. So, I mean, I wonder if they like them with or without toes. I wonder without toes.
Fans paging.
Yeah.
Money. So,
Yeah, it would be good for
I mean, Scott did sit there, and we have a group chat that we're all in, and Scott posted some picture that had got the tips of their finger, and they got them tattooed, so that way it looks like they got their fingertips.
Yeah.
My dummy heads off. I said, hey, the guy that did my off-road bodies, mix off-road bodies, and the pitbull form, he said, he's one hell of a tattoo artist. Maybe we can just tattooed toes back on.
Man, I'm kind of in shock.
I wasn't the one. The thing about it, though, is, I mean, like I posted, I'm not sure just react. Flip out for no reason. I gotta be.
Alright.
So maybe I might have. That way I know it won't break, but.
Knock on wood. I have not broken a front. He tells me, yeah, I broken front bumper. I'm like, yeah, I'm still on the same one for the sprint car and the midget, and I got a spare.
When Howie had the non-wing deal on the carpet for that half a winter.
Yeah.
Myself and Terry got GFRP bodies.
Yeah.
Just because they look bad in the wing sprint car.
Yeah.
I think the one time for the three of us, I went and ended up buying like 15 going on the. I was told to try to boil them in water and do.
I know I've seen a lot of them broken, but knock on wood, man, I have not done that yet. I don't know how, because I've hit some things with the front of that car. I don't know. I mean, it's might be the wing that's just taking care of it and pushing it up. I don't know. So, but
that's what happened that last week you were in on a Sunday with the midget.
Yeah.
And because the front bumper was broken, I didn't realize it, and it was like a damn fish hook.
Is that what we got caught?
We got close to somebody, it would end up catching the back bumper and sending them. It's like. Because I'm not actually trying to joke somebody.
You had a really good run yesterday in that midget, I will say. You got that thing going. But here's the problem. Here's the big problem, Billy. You're going to completely change the race, aren't you?
Nope.
No?
No, because I'm actually happy with where it is. So.
Okay. That's saying a lot, because you're going to change it at some point.
I'm not going to change it until the car doesn't respond to what I'm doing.
Now, Lance is really kicking ass lately in midget.
Yes.
He's really fast. Do you have anything to catch him?
He's your teammate. You ought to go steal his damn notebook.
Listen, I had him last Sunday. I gave him the midget. He worked on it. And I didn't really get a chance to run in that B-main before it broke. But I could already tell, well, it's going to take some getting used to. But yeah, he worked on it. I mean, he helps out. So we're going to, once Todd gets back, I mean, you heard about Todd's accident.
No, what?
Friday night. Todd Epstein, he's our car owner. He was in an accident coming home because of the ice.
Holy shit! No, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he got in an accident, and it was a major pileup coming down the mountain off of 12, heading towards where 12 goes to 4 lanes, right?
Oh, that's right by me.
Yeah. So they had a big accident up there. He got out of the car, and they weren't done wrecking yet. So he got hit and thrown through the air. He said he did a Superman, landed. They took him to the hospital. Found out his hips broke. Then he had Bill with him. You know Bill, right?
If I'd seen him, I would
Yeah.
have known.
He's the guy. He's the guy that has the funny laugh. I like his laugh because he'll just sit there, especially when we're busting the announcing of the track, or just with anybody. He just sits there, and goes. He does that. He's the guy who laughs like that. He's funny.
All right.
You know him now, right?
Yeah.
Yes. He busted some ribs. So
Holy shit.
Todd said he got out of the hospital that morning. Bill, on the other hand, was there for a long time. So
If you talk to Todd, tell him I asked about him.
I will.
That sucked.
Yeah, it's gonna take him a while to recover from that. So I don't expect we're gonna see him at the track. So I mean, before that night we were talking, he said he wants to get us a beast and put us in that and try that out. And see how that'll work, because this is that custom car he has, and it just isn't working that well. So I mean, we've worked on it. I don't know. I'm almost tempted to take it over to Brett and be like, Brett, make this work. See if you can get it to work. So, because Brett,
you got it a lot better. I mean, there for a while, you couldn't even try to work on your racecraft or anything because this thing just was miserable for you to drive. But now you can at least turn laps.
I mean, it's hit or miss. I mean, it's just such a hard car to drive, and
yes.
From the times like I've driven other people's midgets, it's like, why am I working so hard? So I mean, it's that one week when Kyle took out Canouses and we swapped cars during hot laps. And I drove his. I'm like, you're gonna win with this thing because you could drive this. You could just go right in the corner. So I mean, it's not real. It wasn't really a big deal. So,
Lance and I were talking about this yesterday when we were marshaling one time. It's like people think that when they see the A group guys go out and they look like they're stuck. They're never totally stuck.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what's fun about them for me, anyways.
I mean, but they shouldn't be to the point where you're just going in the corner, not even throwing it in, and it just wants to come around. I mean, I gave Kyle my car. He struggled to figure out how to make it do a lap. And it's like, that's what I'm dealing with. So, and
the rear axles and shit straightened out.
Yeah.
I know you were having issues with them binding up or whatever.
We did. We had a few bind points in it. We fixed those. We had Cooper look at it. He pointed out a few things, and I just don't know enough about them or any of the purpose-built cars because I never had to build one. I mean, that's part of the problem with trying to set them up is if you didn't actually have to build one and get the basic setup on there to get it going, you're shit out of luck there. Like my 13.5 Sprint, all I've had to do was tune that, had a good setup on, and all I've had to do was tune it, and like we're doing a few more changes to that lately, just get everybody 360 Sprint. They're just better. Faster. And then you got
anybody that sits there and puts their car down on a track and doesn't tweak something on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
They're not trying to go faster.
Well, I mean, all I've had to do for that car all summer was basically just wing, rear arm adjustments. That's about it, and play with gears. Now it's like, well, we got to go try other things, try this and that. Yes, people wishing Todd well. But yeah, I mean, that's. That 13.5 Sprint was just such a great running car. It still is. It's just, everybody's faster, so now we got to step it up. I put the midget motor in there Saturday to see how that would work because that's a really good motor. And it picked up 3/10 from the first round of qualifying at RJ's. I mean, by the end of the night, like, we didn't have the results, but we were the fastest thing on that track. So, and when we were running with Brett, I mean, we were stuck right behind him. So, and it's really hard when we got Brett out there tuning these cars because Brett knows how to get those things to run. So,
yes.
I mean, Brett has flying 13.5. He's good. So, yes. So Jack's lucked out with getting those rides there. pretty good. And plus, Jack's has been doing pretty well. It ain't easy just to jump into that car and drive it and win. Even if he had to go out there TQ it. That meant he had to put on a really good drive with the field we've had like Friday night and Sunday. That's not an easy thing to do, because a lot of those guys they are just super fast and they just don't make a mistake. Like Oswald, he's good.
He's a welcome addition to the back room. Because when we started talking stupid, he jumps right in. But apparently he ran back in the day, and he was pretty damn good back in the day.
I mean, I finally got a chance to talk to him Sunday. He seems like a good guy, and he runs like crazy, man. He's fast. I guess he gets up there to Jack's.
But then again, it goes back to that whole start deal.
Yep.
Jackson runs big cars,
Mm-hmm.
so he gets it.
No matter what, I mean, certain tracks, track position means a lot. Pheasantland, I think track position means a lot there, especially with the tight fields. Ultimate, track position always meant a lot there. If you could, at Ultimate, if you start on the pole, hey, there's Tyler. He'll get him soon, so he's already here. Cool. At Ultimate, if you start on the pole, you got a really good shot at taking that win. It's going to be hard not to beat you if you're not on the pole. I mean, that's how I feel about that track. What's that?
It's not really the track, though. It's how tight the fields are.
Yeah. Pheasantland, it's just how tight the fields are. I mean, BL2...
It's the same deal. I mean, unless you change something and you just missed a little bit of the setup.
Yeah.
The fields were always tight there, too.
Where's that at? Where did you say?
Always.
Where? Oh, Howard's Ultimate. Yes. Yeah. I mean, but I do think there it's hard. It's really hard to get a run coming off the turns to get underneath somebody.
Yeah.
So if you can jump out to the lead and you get clear sailing for those first 5 laps, and if second place has their hands filled with third, you got a hard time. You're gonna have a good time that day.
As long as you can get through traffic cleanly.
Yeah.
That's anywhere. I mean, if you can roll through lap traffic and not screw yourself, you're good.
The best thing you could do is, like, if you're going to deal with lap traffic, deal with them one at a time, or they just all wreck well before you get there and you have plenty of time to get through. Because then, second and third, they're going to get stuck in a quagmire of traffic to deal with and try and get through to get up to you. And by the time they get through it, you're gone. So
that's what happened with Brett yesterday. I mean, I kind of got a little free towards the end of the day.
Yeah, he was catching you.
Every time he got me, would get to me, I would quick see a wreck and quick dodge it, and he would just guess the wrong way.
Yep.
It's like,
We
talked about that on the stand afterwards when we were doing the picture stuff. And it's like,
that was a good.
For once, I had good luck of getting through shit.
Yep.
And he didn't.
That was fun to watch you two going at that. So it's nice to see you guys putting aside your differences. So
as far as I'm concerned, it's water under the bridge.
Good. So that's good. Because Brett's funny. Every time I go out there, Brett is always bashing into the rear of mine just to get my attention. It's like, you son of a gun. Look, I'm going to go faster. You watch.
One way or another.
So, all right, Billy. Well, thanks for talking. I think we're going to shut this show down. We've been on forever. Let's go through our comments here. Just make sure nothing's missed. Jimmy Beans. Who makes a midget besides the GFRP and Custom Works? Going to buy one this week. Any recommendations, Billy? All right, Billy. Scotty Langton.
I would say Custom Works, but I've always had Custom Works stuff. There is some conversion stuff out there, but I just
Ultimate has a conversion.
Taste in my mouth on the conversion stuff. But
we've talked about that. And conversion kits, I mean, you got to really know what you're doing, and even then, they're still hard to set up. And you don't. Yeah.
Unless it's like a Custom Works base car. I think the RIP cars are Custom Works based, so at least you have a pipeline for parts. But
Yeah.
the stuff that's associated based, none of the oval tracks carry associated
Right.
stuff because it's all buggy. So
Right.
then you kind of on your own island that way.
Yeah. But I mean, you can always pick up associated parts off the internet or, you know, Pit Stop or Enzo's, well, Trains and Lanes.
Enzo doesn't.
Yeah.
Enzo doesn't carry
Yeah,
it
you
because
can
it's
always
not-
pick them up those places and, you know, stock up. But that's, you have to stock up.
Yeah.
Lance's car is pretty stock, 25 GR for P, I think. So back on the Yak is dealing a lot with Lance there. I would just get a GFRP, honestly, from Davies. So they're going back and forth.
That, as far as that goes, you could make anything work. It's just, are you willing to put the time and effort in to not see instant results?
Yeah. I mean, we're back on the access. Sounds like you guys aren't getting help from your local sponsor guys. I mean, we're getting help. I mean, they're just, you know, we don't have a lot of the Custom Works and GFRP team drivers out with us. But everybody's helping each other out here.
Yeah, and as far as that goes, if you go to Garrett
Yeah.
and say, hey, I just bought this kid,
Yeah.
point me in a direction, he'll point you in a direction.
Garrett set off Chris Spidel's sprint car, and that thing runs like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he did that, and Chris just went out there and he took off and just started winning right away. So he's definitely helpful.
And I'm sure if you end up talking to Phil,
Yeah.
he will help you too, because he's a CW driver too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, Marabella will help. Cooper and Willman, they're very helpful. Midget, I'm excited.
We said that in our group chat. We don't know who helps more people out, Cooper or Willman, because they're always wrenching on somebody else's stuff.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess we better sign off here. Even Barney signed off. We were done before Barney was. Barney was done before we were. Wow. All right, guys. Well, we got to thank our sponsors. Let me just make sure. Thank our sponsors here.
I was gonna say I can't help you on that because
I know.
I'm not sponsored.
I know. We got to thank our sponsors: KHD Speed Labs, J Body RC, Ultimate for their Kydex bodies. Hold on, I got to run through this. Papa Willie's.
I was gonna say Tire Dope. I didn't even know that.
Yes. Right. All right. Ultimate RC, Kydex bodies, J Body RC, KHD, Papa Willie's, Race Ready Products. Who am I forgetting? Oh, Rip Motorsports. And we got to thank our car owners, Russ Lebo and Todd Epstein, and hope Todd gets well. And same for Russ. Wow.
Anyway, Russ got a shitty deal on that one.
Oh, yeah, he did. So we'll talk about that then. But we'll talk about that next week. Maybe something will change by then. So, all right, guys. See you at the tracks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Billy.
Not a problem, man.
All right. Thanks for coming on. Talk to you later.
See you, man.
See you. Bye. And thank you to everybody. And we're done. Oh, we are done. All right. There we go. Oh. Oh, shit. Is this thing done? All right.